Okay. You want to bring us in, Adam?
Welcome to Come Town.
I feel like I do it all the time.
I'll do it. Hey guys, welcome to Come Town.
No, you do it all the time also. That's why I said Adam.
Go ahead, Adam. Fuck you, dude. Don't tell me who the fuck. I'll do it if I want, bitch. Guys, welcome to Come Town. Episode 69,
You know what?
number 10.
We're gonna,
Don't you dare.
No,
don't you dare
edit all
redo
this
it.
out.
No, this stays. This is gold.
Welcome to from the top of the World Trade. Fuck. From the top of the Empire State.
Yeah, it's the World Trade Center.
For the top of the World Trade Center, this is the Puerto Rican Rattlesnake Come Town podcast. I'm Adam Friedland.
Anthony Cumia Studios, man.
Well, Opie and Anthony. Opie's studio is at the top of Tower 1.
And Anthony's
studio
at
is top of Tower 2.
Oh, okay.
And then they would do that. That's how they would do the show.
With through cups
interesting.
with a string.
Yeah.
Dixie cups. Yeah.
Through racist souvenir cups.
Yeah.
And attached. With a string in the middle. So we have a guest, but we don't have a mic for the guest.
Yeah, this is
We had a bit we were gonna do. There's like a wireless mic here that I thought didn't work, and we were just gonna give it to Adam
and tell him it was fake.
Tell him it was.
God, that would have been so good.
Yeah, but then Adam tried to use it, and then it broadcasts over Stav's office, and Stav got scared.
I did. First of all, scared is not right. I got
I'd say that's
purposefully cautious that we don't get thrown out of here. We lose our fucking access to Ritz crackers and fucking Pop-Tarts.
That's true. This place does have a lot of snacks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had
it's
hummus,
really
we
cool.
had pretzels.
Good snacks.
Yeah,
I might
for
have
free.
some Ritz Bits now.
Yeah, I just had a really nice strawberry Pop-Tart untoasted.
But we do have a guest.
Who's-
I guess.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Yeah. Here, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Because we have to just hand off the mic.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Hey, I'm Melissa Stokoski.
Yeah, Melissa's
unofficial
here.
Guest. Yeah.
That's right.
Welcome,
Well,
Melissa.
Thanks.
Right.
Nick's eating crackers, so
What do
someone
you?
else know.
Hey, Melissa, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thank you
doing
for
great.
thank you
Thanks
for
for
doing
having
it.
me.
Of course. We were working on a sketch, and then we were eating snacks so long here that it's bled into podcast time.
Right.
So
Wow.
here we are. And also, Nick is going to say probably horrible shit about rape. So we felt like we needed to have a woman. Yeah, Nick felt like.
Mm-hmm.
No one can hear you right now. Yeah, but no one on the
No one
fucking...
can hear. So yeah. Basically, Stav and I are not whatever Nick says. Stav and I have our own opinions, and I just want to.
Yeah, why don't we open this up? It feels like you really want to talk about stuff, Nick. So
Well, no, I don't really want to talk about it. I'm just trying to fill time. Because see, we lose. We lose probably about 10% of our audience every week. The
You think
numbers-
so?
Oh no, I know so. I have like the
Bummer.
analytics. Yeah, it goes down every week. Less and less people listen to the podcast. Half the time it's
Shit.
unavailable now. The podcast host is all fucked up.
really?
Yeah, so like a bunch of people were messaging me. They try to listen to it, and it's just it says
I
every
thought that it
episode's
was because
unavailable.
of the racism that it was taken down.
No,
last
it was
week.
never taken down.
and it wasn't racist.
Yeah,
to be
no, it
clear.
wasn't racism. I mean, you asked Jamel if it was okay. If we,
Yeah, I asked
said-
Jamel,
Yeah,
and
we asked
Jamel.
Jamel said it's fine, and if you're not familiar
Jamel-
with Jamel, well, you're probably racist.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause you should
That's
be-
true.
That's the only reason you wouldn't know him. No, I mean, this Aaron Glazer thing happened.
Yeah. A
and
rape
Everybody's talking about that.
controversy in
Yeah,
the New York scene.
So this is for ratings. We're gonna get the ratings back up.
Again, it's only to kill time. So,
Well, maybe if enough people stop listening, we won't have to keep doing it.
yeah,
So hopefully we should just keep being shitty at
that's the goal, you know.
it, and then we
it's
can
like
just end it.
it's like Neil Young said, you do 20 podcasts
Mhm.
and then you stop.
Yeah, that's true.
Dance on the Moon with Pocahontas, or whatever the next lyric that doesn't make any sense is.
I never listened to no fucking Neil Young, dude.
Really? Neil Young's great.
He's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard one song
He's
and it was pretty
which
good.
one?
Something about gold.
After the
Yeah.
Gold Rush, the album.
Yeah, after the gold rush.
really
yes.
It's a really
That's
good
Adam's
album.
favorite song is one about gold.
Yeah, I
Was
wonder
you got a song
why.
about coins too?
Yeah,
After the shekel rush.
yeah,
That's,
yeah. Well, that's what it is in Hebrew.
Isn't shekel the funniest?
Shekel? Yeah, it sounds.
I mean,
like
it
a-
sounds-
it
yeah.
sounds pretty.
My shekel.
Ducats is probably the best.
Ducats is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like people haven't said ducats since 1997.
I was
Yeah.
saying. I feel like Ducats was around in college,
He
like
came back.
around
Ironically.
2011.
Yeah.
It's
Rappers
time
were
for
saying
ducats to
Ducats.
come
No,
back.
you know why? It's because they said ducats in San Andreas. And that was like set in the early 90s, and I think that made like Ducats have a comeback. That and Busta. People started saying Busta again.
I never called Busta again.
I
I
call
never
people
said it.
Busters, though.
Yeah.
It's funny with the hard R.
I call
Yeah.
Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Great
Well,
place.
this dude's a fucking buster, Aaron Glazer.
Aaron Glaze is
Yeah.
a Buster. Dude,
Yeah.
that's a good take.
That's my take. That's my take. So, all right.
Yeah,
Once
I
and
guess
for
like
all-
you know we should probably no, it is like an interesting thing to talk about, I guess. But
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
kind of fucked up if like it wouldn't be fucked up. I guess it's just it probably evens things out to have like a woman that we bully racehorse style.
We
Get
won't
a
be
woman-
bullying her.
Yeah, no, we won't bully you.
Well, I don't have a mic necessarily to defend myself.
Wow, so that's
that's-
like the
that's
ultimate.
one, yeah, that's
That
an
is-
aspect of things.
I told you, dude. We're doing this fucking Kumia Studio style.
You
they
want to
bought-
Google for us?
They bought Roger Ailes' leg cam, and they installed it in the Anthony Cumia studio.
Oh man.
But I don't know. I guess should we? I guess describe. I mean, everybody knows what the fucking story is, right?
I don't necessarily think so.
Yeah. Did you follow that at all?
I did. Yeah, kind
I
of.
feel like you had to
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Facebook. If
Yeah.
you do comedy in New York, you followed it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, initially, what happened for me is because I was enjoying like a peaceful day at the hardware store. I was offline. I had like no interest in hearing about it. And like I like talked to Aaron maybe like 2 or 3 times. I don't particularly
Yeah, I don't
give a
know the
shit
guy.
about him. Yeah. But yeah, like I think Sean McCarthy texted me and he was like, like what do you think about Aaron Glazer? And I was like, but why? And he's like, oh, apparently he raped somebody. I was like, I don't
Jesus Christ.
care about this. But then someone else messaged me about it. And then like a third person was like, oh, this Aaron thing's crazy.
I mean, it was everywhere. I mean,
It was
it is
everywhere.
fucking crazy, by the way.
It was everywhere, yeah. I mean, well, it's not that crazy. I mean, people are.
Yeah, unfortunately,
there
You
are
were
rapists.
unfazed. You were totally unfazed when you heard.
Well, I don't know him. I don't know. I'm like, I can't believe Aaron would do that. I mean, with the guy I've done 2 shows with, I mean, maybe he did. But, like, when I went to, like, get information, it was just like, oh, yeah, he raped somebody. And I was like, who did he rape? And they're like, oh, they're not saying, but,
Right.
he raped
Do you think that,
somebody.
like, you were like,
I'm
oh, that's out of any of my friends are capable of rape? Who cares? Like that kind of thing.
Well, he's not my friend, is what I'm saying. I
Right.
I don't know the guy. If you told me like there's this guy Steve Johnson who's a rapist, I'd be like, what? Well, who's that? I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised.
What if, like, Adam or I, if you heard that about us?
I don't know. I'd probably defend you. I guess maybe a little bit.
What's the pause
probably,
about?
Well, I mean, again, I would need to know the details. If somebody just said that you were a rapist, I would be like, well, what happened? And that's what happened with the Aaron thing. I was like, what happened? They're like, oh, he raped, he like raped some girl, maybe a girl or a couple of girls. And I was like, well, like, what is it? And they're like, oh, there's no real details. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to just go around saying some guy's a rapist if it's like, a vague thing. And people are like, oh, well, UCB released a statement. And I was like, that seems kind of weird that UCB would do that because they're a fucking business. And if they're not right, they can get sued. And so there was
It
no
was
statement.
fake, right?
There was no statement from UCB.
But there was a fake statement.
There's-
I think there was a fake statement, and I think there was a real statement.
All there is, the
So, like,
source
go
of
to
all
our
this, 'cause-
counselor or something.
Yeah, well, I got into it with people, and the source of all of this is a screenshot from like a women's only group, like a women's like comic group. It's a
Right,
screenshot
right.
where the name's been cut off, so you can't see who posted it. That just said like, "Hey guys, I'm just sharing this on behalf of like one of the victims or whatever." But Aaron Glazer has been banned from UCB for rape, and then in quotation marks within that, it says. Aaron has been banned from UCB for raping multiple women in the scene. If you've been raped by Aaron, please send an email to Marissa at something at UCB, .com or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but no one can tell me like who wrote that, what group it was posted in, or what that who they're quoting in those quotation marks.
Right.
And so then somebody just reported on it today, and then they attributed that quote to a staffer at UCB. They said that Marissa said that herself, that Aaron was banned for rape. And, if she said that, it's an official capacity. If she's telling people to contact her at her work email. But then that same reporter contacted UCB, and they were like, what's up? And UCB was like, oh, we're not going to comment on that. So that's their official policy is not to comment. So it's like the whole thing's obfuscated. There's no real
But that
details.
doesn't mean, I mean, just because they're not commenting on it doesn't mean he's not banned and doesn't mean there's not a reason for it. I don't think they would.
Doesn't mean he didn't
go
rape
through-
someone.
It doesn't mean
Right.
he didn't rape, but it
And
also
the point of sharing it in that way is not to blackball someone or whatever in that way. It's to keep women safe so they know and that they're informed that this is a
Okay.
person you cannot trust and you're not safe around.
Well, here's the problem with that. Is like, let's say UCB banned him because he was like maybe forward with a girl, which is still not appropriate. You know, like let's say he's in UCB classes and he says to a girl like, "Hey, I would really like to fuck you." Not appropriate. And
Well, I think they banned him
Hold on.
because he hosted a
Hold-
show there. He hosted a stand-up show.
Okay, but even if they banned him for that, and then they say, "Okay, Aaron, you're banned because you know XYZ," and then people start going around saying, "Oh yeah, Aaron's banned for rape." There's a huge fucking difference between a guy that's creepy and accusing someone of being like a serial fucking rapist felon.
But do you think that they would ban someone for being quote unquote creepy? I
Absolutely.
mean, he's a report, like he's like a performer there who is pretty respected and whatever.
But UCB is a business. I mean, it's
But
incumbent
why
upon
would they
them
get
to
rid of
protect their
someone
image.
who is bringing them business?
Because you know what's like
If it
what
wasn't a
looks
legitimate-
much worse for UCB is if people start saying that, you know, oh well, they're protecting this guy who's like, you know, sexually aggressive towards women, especially after like the couple of guys that's already happened with in the improv community at large. I mean, and that's why I don't.
What I'm upset about is that it was a fucking stand-up, bro. Because it's always those fucking.
Well,
improv
he's more of an
groups.
improv guy.
Oh, then
Yeah.
thank God.
Yeah, no, it's not stand-ups doing it. You know, stand-ups are in the clear. I don't think we've had a rapist since that guy was going around all those colleges.
I think there's
Nah,
plenty
there's
of-
definitely
There's
have
rape.
been.
There's rape.
there's absolutely.
Professor Emeritus William Jefferson Cosby.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that.
Well, let's
stand-ups
name
aren't
names.
doing
Who are
it.
the rapist
We're not.
stand-ups?
You know what are we?
Louis jacked off in front of a girl one time or something.
There's Louis. I have a friend who has a situation. I'm not gonna name names because I don't think that's my place. But that's been out on Facebook as well.
Okay, well, do they do improv also? Is there any
No.
way to shift this onto the improv community?
No.
Yeah. Is there any evidence that he
But
took
he-
lessons or ever was in theater in
The
high
point
school?
is, it's not the fears that women have, and we were just kind of talking about this
Yeah.
about me, like opening for a guy on the road or whatever. It is a completely different experience to have like a sexual aspect.
Right,
It's
floating over
fully
the thing.
immersed in. It's woven into my career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't go on a road gig in the same way that you guys would go on a road gig,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the point of it. Is like we have to constantly think about not just being funny and whatever, safety, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks, and that's totally valid. But back to, like, you know, because there's such a huge spectrum of behavior when it comes to sexual interaction, at the very end of that spectrum being rape is somebody being a rapist, you know, and you don't have anyone, like, directly accusing him, which, again, is fine. I understand, like, the need to protect women.
I don't buy that part.
What do you mean?
You should protect the identity. Of
Okay,
people.
I mean that's literally what I just said. I have no
yeah.
problem with them obfuscating who the actual people are. But
Sure.
what the accusations are. If UCB wants to leak privately into a group, okay, that it's for rape, which hasn't been substantiated because UCB is not going to comment on it. Probably because it's a fucking huge legal fuck up on their end that one of their staffers, you know, I mean, if they, you know, don't have evidence that he actually raped somebody and they're in official capacity going around telling people outside their business
Yeah.
that he's a rapist, then what?
But what evidence? Like, if someone says he raped her, right?
Okay.
Then isn't that enough to fucking at least?
Who said that?
I don't. But didn't you just say we can obfuscate? It's okay to not say. I mean, someone.
No,
else.
I'm
Businesses
saying
can
it's-
ban whoever they want.
I
whether,
know.
You know.
I'm saying it's okay to obfuscate who the person is, but to not have any details in what he was banned for or
Right.
why.
But it's obviously bad enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but
there's
there's
no.
yeah, but see, bad enough could be he was creepy towards somebody, or it could be that he and if he did rape somebody, you know, I mean, not fine, it's bad, but like if he was banned for a reason like, you know, he was creepy, I don't like the wholesale inflation of creepy or rapey behavior up to like he is a rapist now, because that's a slippery slope. It's bad.
I
You
get
shouldn't-
that, but I mean, I think it brings the conversation about where there's some behavior that, creepy is not a good term that we're using to begin with, because that's so all over the place.
Why wasn't the one that started it?
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying there needs to be a conversation, because I think the fear is that some guys are going to get accused of something and that they thought was totally fine behavior. And I get that fear. You don't want to be wrongly accused of anything. And it's not necessarily, it's like racism. It's like, I don't want to say something that is racially insensitive, but sometimes who knows? Maybe I didn't realize that. And that's totally fine. I think that's more so what needs to happen, is a conversation of being like, no, that's not okay. And I get that you didn't know that that's not okay. And just kind of changing the culture around that.
I mean, yeah.
Like in France.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem, is because there's probably, I mean, I've done it probably a billion times where I've said something, that would be deemed creepy or whatever, or maybe like sexually aggressive, or I think everybody has.
Well,
pretty much.
We're also in this weird, fucked up, like, we're all coworkers. There's no HR. There's no protocol.
Again, that's
we're
a gray area,
partying
too.
together.
Yeah.
We're totally immersed in each other's like personal lives and like quote unquote professional lives, because comedy is a job. Like, we're all working together.
For 2% of the people doing comedy, for the vast majority,
So true.
for the vast majority of the people doing stand up right now, they want to pretend like this is their career. But
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
to
You don't
get
fucking
but to
paid
get
do
it to
comedy.
be to a career, you have
have
to
to-
be there.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You have to not be paid.
Sure,
for a
you
while.
have you have to work your way up, but I mean, there's a lot of people that do this as like a social thing after they get off work, and the same people that might be sexually aggressive in a comedy setting, I guarantee you would not be doing that at their day job, because there is a
Right.
disconnect. So I mean, you can call it a professional setting.
But
all
what are
you
you
want.
mad about, though, ultimately, like, in this situation? Because, I mean, I know it's fucked. It's fucked that it's like, I guess, in theory, if these are false accusations or they're not extreme enough for, like...
It has nothing to do with false accusations, and that's the thing. I fucking can't stand that people are trying to put that in my mouth. If there's no accusation to deny, I can't fucking deny it. There's no information. There's an anonymous screen cap that can't be attributed to anybody that says Aaron was banned for rape, and UCB is saying we didn't post that, we don't know who did,
But
we're not saying anything.
But he
He
is.
is banned.
But it seems
So then
like...
they have a reason. There's been an accusation, and that's enough.
And it's just
and then
been
that's
bungled.
enough
Has
to
there been
get
an
people
how's there
out.
been-
Well, what would they ban him for if there wasn't an accusation? You know what I mean? Like, somebody went to them and gave them information. They took that information and said, we are not comfortable having this person at our theater.
So for sure, somebody said to UCB that he raped them. For sure.
Why else would he be banned from UCB?
Because he was sexually forward with somebody, because again he said something creepy.
What's the difference, though? If it's
Between rape and saying to someone like, "Hey, I want to fuck you," there's a huge
no
fucking difference.
way
One's a
that
felony.
he would be banned for saying "I want to fuck you."
I mean, do you know that? Do you know that he
But
would? That's the only reason
there's-
UCB bans people is for outright raping somebody.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would
it's-
say so. I would say
No.
that
But what-
it's.
I mean, maybe
and
we
like,
don't
to
know
me,
it.
there's not really that much of a difference. Like, if he made people so uncomfortable that they could not comfortably perform at UCB, that UCB felt they had to get rid of this person, yes, it's bad enough. Even if it's not a crime that he could be taken in. If you're making people uncomfortable enough, I don't think. Well, then that's on those people who were deciding he is a rapist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you say rape is bad, you'll get 100 likes on Facebook.
Yeah,
Well, I don't agree with everyone.
Yeah.
but
That's
I
what's
mean,
tough is like a lot of people are taking it into their own,
Their own
trying
shit.
to, get likes,
That's
get
what
some
bothers
gratification. I get bothered by that too. I get bothered by that when people die. I get bothered in all kinds of situations when people make it about them. That's not cool.
Right.
But we do need to share feelings and have a dialogue about it.
That's true.
So and unfortunately, social media is a lot of the way to do that, which sucks. I wish it could, people could talk in person and that it didn't have that same effect. But
Yeah.
that's kind of
What
my
do you
culture.
make of the whole I should have gone to the cops thing? Like the UCB isn't.
again, I think
I think that's what is bothering people.
Well,
right now.
and because here's the thing,
Wait, Kurt
you
said
also,
that or something?
I mean, I would also say that too, but you also don't
That
know
is
that
a
she. You also don't know that
That she
whoever
was raped.
well, no, you don't know. Let me finish what I'm fucking saying. You don't know that she didn't go to the cops because nobody has any information.
Right.
She very well could have gone to the cops. You don't know that because UCB won't say anything. Because nobody will say anything because nobody has information. Everybody commenting on this thing does not have any kind of first-hand or second-hand account. Unfortunately, the person with the most credibility, not credibility, but most direct access to the information right now
him.
is Aaron. Because nobody saying anything.
Did you read his post that he put up?
I read which one? The one where
The
he's
one
just
that he
denied
deleted
it? Yeah,
it.
there was a
Yeah.
couple. I mean, he probably has a lawyer at this point.
That's why he
Yeah.
deleted it.
and
for
UCB
sure.
is probably going to get sued.
Well, and just about the cop situation, I think it's easy to say, like, oh, well, of course, if there's a crime, you go to the cops. But it is a flawed system there.
Sure.
And it's a super uncomfortable. You're dealing with such a sensitive thing. You're already traumatized. You're going to, like, as a woman, a lot of times another man, not that this man is not, respectful or whatever, but he
They
doesn't.
have female police officers.
Definitely,
They have
definitely.
counselors
But I'm
there.
just saying, a lot of the times it's a very uncomfortable situation, another trauma to go through, and it's not handled correctly. Like, a lot of the time, it is not handled correctly.
Sure.
And the only way to change that system is to kind of
Right.
get something going socially so that system
That's-
becomes more effective.
I'm just saying that if
no,
he
the way
were-
you get something going socially, though, is you still encourage people to report it to the police,
Mm-hmm.
and then you call for actions to reform to the way it's handled within.
I'm
the
just
system.
saying
Yeah.
a
You
better
don't say-
punishment.
You don't
is,
throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, "Oh, well, the police don't handle it well, so we're just going to completely remove the police from the situation."
I don't
and
think you
just say,
should completely remove, but I think
We're
the
Batman.
system we're in now is flawed.
Yeah.
So you have to change
Sure,
that.
but
You
there's a
have to
lot
take
of systems that are flawed, and saying "fuck it all" isn't like that's the mentality, which I don't think
Yeah,
is real,
I'm
by
not
the
saying
way,
fuck it all.
of the people that are like, "Well, Bernie didn't get the nomination, so I'm going to vote for Trump," which I don't think anybody's actually
Right,
doing
right,
that.
right.
But it's the same. It's the same kind of fucking mentality where, oh well, rape cases. First of all, it's shitty to deal with the police with any crime,
anything,
any
yeah.
fucking Stav. I mean, well, Stav is he's kind of like a
hardened
false
criminal.
rape. He's like he's a rape liar when it comes to his
when
car.
it comes to my car, I tried. Yeah, but they were shitty to deal with. But also, dude, I don't think you're wrong. It's just a matter of tact. It's like, yes, you should go to the cops, but it's like I wouldn't mock. That's the thing. I'm not mocking people.
He's
about.
not, and this is, I mean, the people that are yelling about this, like Che and Kurt, they're not yelling at the victims. They're yelling because there's
Kurt's
no,
kinda was, though,
there's
dude.
no
It
victims
was.
to yell at. You don't know who they are.
There is
You're
someone,
dealing
though.
entirely with third parties in this situation. He's yelling at the people that are outright saying, "Do not get the police involved," which people are saying on Facebook.
And
People
some
are
people
saying
are
that.
Yeah, I
fine,
don't
but
agree.
but like
And those are the people he's arguing with, and it's totally valid to mock those people because they're fucking wrong.
I guess, but this is a thing where it's like there is so many other people who are just like affected by these sorts of things who aren't saying don't go to the police, and that they see that shit that can be like
He's
pretty
not
hurtful,
arguing
though.
with them.
You know what I
He's
mean?
not arguing
Also,
with
it
them.
is the victim's choice. It's the victim's choice for everything.
Right.
Like this is their situation, and really none of us have any. There's no reason that they have to.
Sure.
If you got robbed and you were like, I don't give a shit who stole my fucking television.
Sure.
I don't care. You know what I mean? You still got robbed, and you're going to deal with that emotionally in
way
your
you
way.
want to, yeah.
You know? So it's up to the victim entirely. In my opinion, I'm not saying fuck the police, get them out of the situation at all. I think that's the right thing to do. If there's a crime, you should report it.
And I think
But-
that is the thing. That is part of what is turning so like that is so shitty about it. It's like the tone of like all those posts, the Metzger, the Che thing is like they know better than some victims. That is the tone of some of those.
Here's
Right.
the tone. They know better than the people encouraging those victims not to go to the fucking police. Because again, there is no discernible victim in this situation. They can't speak directly to them. What you have is, again, a bunch of third parties commenting on it and people publicly defending this decision to not encourage them to go to the police. Whether that even fucking happened or not, because nobody knows what happened internally with UCB.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still flabbergasted that people trust UCB to handle an investigation as if their reputation isn't on the line. Like they could possibly not be thinking about how is this going to look for us? How are we not going to get sued? The entire time they're going through one of those situations. And that's, not only
this is like
not only unfair to the accused, but unfair to the victims as well.
Right.
Because then it ultimately comes down to what's the easiest way to make this go away? And that's what's incumbent upon UCB. Not justice, not making people safe. It's how do we make this situation go away?
because now it's blown up to this proportion. But this is kind of new territory. I mean, this is like what could have happened with Cosby in the 80s and 90s. Like, people were talking about it and not saying anything. So when this first started happening, I was just kind of like, whoa, like he's getting tagged and shit. I was like, this is intense. I was a little bit kind of proud, though. I was like, cool, everyone's talking about it.
It's good that people
Everyone
take women
is
seriously.
on board. Yes, taking it seriously, having women's backs, and in that way, very cool. I think that was great. A lot of people are calling it a witch hunt. I don't think that's the right term for it at all, because if you look at what witches were, they were not witches. Clearly he did something that's not. If you don't want to be accused of rape, don't rape. That kind of thing. It's not, it's not like you took an innocent person and
there was no
dragged.
There was no conspiracy to like ruin.
But I'm not saying. Here's what I haven't seen: a single person say, "Aaron raped me." All I've seen is people say, "I heard." Aaron
Just to say this, though,
because that's how that's how it works. I need some.
No.
I don't need. It doesn't even need to be like you
What?
can
So
still,
that person has to carry around that reputation while they're having
you
trying to
can
have a
still
career in
make it-
comedy.
You can still make it
No.
anonymous. You can
I
still
don't
make it
remember who
anonymous.
it was.
I still, again, there's no official statement from UCB. It's people saying, "I heard this. I heard
So
this."
if you read an anonymous statement that said Aaron,
that could be
Glaser raped me.
substantiated. Yeah, I mean, anonymous to the extent that it's not like a fucking yik yak thing.
But see, that's the problem though with this whole situation, is that it has to be made public.
Okay,
in order
so
to,
all right,
in
so
order to afford a rapist due process, it has to all this stuff has to come out, right?
Well, I mean, and then the due process thing is tricky because you can talk about due process and Sixth Amendment rights in terms of like a legal case,
Right.
But then culturally, the way we handle these accusations, I mean, I still believe in some kind of idea of due process on a cultural level because I think that, and then might just be my own paranoid thinking, but if you sort of erode the ideas of freedom of speech or due process on a cultural level in terms of things like, banning somebody from Twitter because they got into an argument with somebody, again, it's a private service. They can ban whoever the fuck they want, but on like a cultural level, you want to maintain these freedoms, you want to maintain civil liberty, you want to maintain due process as ideas we protect and respect, because if you don't, then it'll be easier to pass legislation to erode those laws in the future.
Yeah. But what about those people that haven't been afforded due process?
That's
Like
fucked up.
Harambe, the gorilla.
Okay. Well, the solution is still not to take away people's rights. It's the same thing with like, don't get the police involved because they have a huge failure rate. Look at the inefficacy of the justice system. We should just not deal with them at all. And that's like the problem.
It's set up for a reason.
Yeah.
And,
I agree with you
and
there.
it took thousands of years, as fucked up as the justice system is, it took like thousands of years to get to this point, to figure out a sort of a way where we can try to offer some semblance of justice where it's not fucked up, the way it used to be. And, they try to circumvent, like, colleges got in trouble because they protected student athletes that were raping people. And then that's where, like, the bulk of, like, conversations about rape culture started. It was centered around, like, the campus rape epidemic.
Yeah, and also not just but yeah, like rich kids, people with more privilege got to like fucking get protected.
Yeah,
from
in
rape.
general. But
and
I mean,
that's why what's happened with comedy too. Comics who have
right.
a bigger following, who are more successful, are definitely more protected than Aaron Glaser.
Aaron Glaser is just a illiterate rich kid from Long Island. Really.
It doesn't matter, but he just doesn't
Well,
have the success
You know what
rate.
it is? I blame
hilarious.
UCB for part of that. I blame UCB part of that because like UCB is such a fucking cult that it creates those power structures, those artificial power structures that sort of like these women that will feel coerced into fucking their improv teacher because they think he's important because he had a one-line speaking role on How I Met Your Mother or whatever the fuck.
He was really good on that though.
Yeah, it's like if it weren't for UCB's like creepy, keep it in the house, everybody here
I don't
is
know
important.
enough to say that, but I agree with that. I don't think, you should not build up power structures to make someone, where everyone is idolizing this person, because they're not going to use that power responsibly 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I do feel like it's obviously very complicated, but I do think that it just needs to be like it's okay to me if it's like we take extra precautions with victims or accusers of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I know it's fucked that, like, I mean, we shouldn't erode due process anyway, but I also understand, like, there's almost overcorrection right now where maybe we're swinging a little too far and it's a little too whatever.
That's been happening on campuses for a while, and that's the problem, is because campuses got in trouble again because they're businesses.
Dude,
because they're
it's
businesses.
still fucked up on campuses.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
A friend of mine got raped in college, and she was afraid to come forward because she was selling the guy weed at the time.
Yeah.
So she finally did, and she found out there were like 8 other girls on campus that had been raped by him.
Yeah.
and if you
And-
don't talk about it, that guy raped. That's why he's raped 8 people,
was a
because
sm-
nobody had talked about
It's a
it.
small liberal arts school, like 2,000 people. Everyone that fucks everyone knows. Whenever you hook up with anyone, you know.
Yeah.
And no one else wanted to come forward, and she was completely alone in it. She got in trouble for selling weed. Like her name was dragged through the mud, and I think she ultimately transferred schools.
So campuses were getting in trouble for
God.
not doing enough about sexual assault, and the federal government came down on them, and now they've set up all of these extrajudicial tribunals to handle sexual assault cases instead of creating an effective pipeline to the police who should be handling those cases.
Right.
And now how that's turned out, and there's a story about there's like a girl, I forget which school, but she was like a fat girl that had sex with this guy. I mean, it's important to the story. There's a fat girl, I swear to God,
I know,
there's a
I
fat
remember
girl
the
that had
story.
sex with this guy, and his friends made fun of him for having sex with her, so he reported her for rape. And because they had already set a precedent of like, well, once you're accused of rape, you're removed from campus and you have a no contact order. So in a case that is, to anybody with any degree of fucking common sense whatsoever, looks at this and sees what it is, they say, oh, I'm sorry, but we already set up all this shit so the school doesn't get in trouble. We had to create extrajudicial court systems that don't mean anything, and now you're expelled. Now this girl's been expelled from the school for rape because some guy's friends made fun of her. And that's ultimately who fucking loses out in these situations.
Well,
you know?
that is a really extreme. That's not a run-of-the-mill situation.
It will
by
be.
any means.
It fucking will be if you and here's the thing, like
That's
to protect people
know,
like
man.
that.
well. Then
I
what's
mean,
your point in saying that we shouldn't have all of these?
No, it's the way to
systems?
fix it is you shouldn't create new systems that are based on the idea that due process shouldn't exist, which is exactly what colleges did. What the colleges should have done is when the heat came down on them for not effectively handling sexual assault on campus is creating a very effective student resource pipeline to the justice system that provides advocacy for victims, that gets in contact with the fucking DA immediately and works with police officers to bring, justice to the situation through the court systems we already have set up that are based on the Constitution, they're based on protecting people's rights, that are, that ultimately, yes, are very fucked up, but they work a lot better than some, group of fucking RAs that, took one class,
Yeah.
on what?
No, yeah, I think absolutely you're right in that, like, we have to make the way that, like, going to the actual police is, like, not a new
Right.
traumatizing experience. And I don't know how long that fucking takes. I don't know how much. I mean, we've also been talking about how the justice system has to be better for, like, black people in the way. You know what I mean? Like,
But the social movements have helped,
and I think
with
they
that.
help. And I think, I mean, I
Have
do
they?
think,
There's riots going on right now in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's burning right now.
I mean, but all I know in these situations is that, like, I don't know, man. You just have to protect people. You have to protect women from, like, predators in these situations. And I mean, what else do you do? Do you just, like?
But here's the thing: if your way of protecting women is by setting a precedent for taking people's rights away today,
Right.
Guess what happens in 20 years? Guess whose rights are being taken away? Not fucking white guys. Because I tell you what, rape is already illegal, and everyone wants to fucking invoke Brock Turner's name in this case. Say, oh, you should go to the police? Look at Brock Turner. Yeah,
Right.
he's a fucking straight white guy, and he got away with it. So what do you want? You want no due process? Guess who still goes free? Brock Turner. Guess who
Right.
gets fucked over? The black guy that didn't actually do
Right.
it. That fit the description,
Well,
that
yeah.
they say, well, it's just easier to fucking get rid of this guy. Or the women. Or, any fucking minority group that's historically been, oppressed or fucked over. Because that's who these systems of power hurt.
But in this case, what do you do when it's like, if someone accuses somebody, says this guy raped me, did something, and then because it's a business or whatever, no official word has leaked, what do? You just like let this guy keep hanging out? I mean, what?
No, you inform everyone so they know, and this does not happen again with the
Right.
same person or other people or guys. I mean, the only way that I know of to, if there's a guy who has fucking rapey tendencies,
Right.
is to scare the shit out of him for not doing that. And if he's scared that, oh, my Facebook wall is going to fucking blow up because everybody's going to talk about it, cool. I don't
Right.
give a shit. I don't care what
No.
deters you from doing it as long as
And
he's
that's
deterred.
your right to do on a personal level. That's fine. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Even though that is in technically defamation. And then that's the problem that UCB faces now is
Right.
if that was an official statement from them, they said he's a rapist, they're in a lot of fucking trouble. Because if it can't be substantiated or, then it's defamation. And they're going to fucking lose a lot of money. And that's why it's the easiest way to handle those situations is just to privately tell Aaron, like, look, thank you for the time, you spent here or whatever, but something came up and you can't fucking be here anymore. We've had a lot of complaints about you. Can't go into detail. And that's
But that maybe is what happened, but then everyone else finds out about it.
how.
Some because
in-
women want to tell other women to like
Right.
stay away from it.
And you have to.
And
you
then-
have to talk about it because
Yeah.
there's women who have had the same fucked up sexual experience with the same comic,
That's fine.
across the
That's
board.
totally
That's-
fine. Yeah,
that can
absolutely.
happen.
Go ahead, talk about it. Talk about it, and say, okay, this guy is creepy, or this guy's a predator, whatever. UCB made a decision to handle this in some sort of investigative capacity and treat themselves like a governing body, very much the same way, very much the
body.
same way a campus would. And if you want that responsibility, you better be prepared for the full brunt of it, which is going to be a
I
fucking
agree.
lawsuit. And I think that's wrong. I think as much as like the way these cases have been fucked up on campus, the way they handle it, which, again, like you said, still not effective. Did you see that Hunting Ground documentary?
No.
Okay, well, like the big one, it's Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fucking raped that girl. And nobody gives a shit.
No,
Yeah.
he plays on Sundays
Because and why it's so fucked up is because as a student athlete, they're fucking exploiting him anyways.
because he made so
Right.
much revenue.
They're making so much money that he doesn't
Yeah,
see a
yeah.
fucking dime of.
for the state of Florida.
Yeah. So
Wait,
one of their slaves raped somebody.
yeah, it's true.
And they're like, oh, well, we're just going to try and play it safe here. And that's what fucking happened.
That boy got a hell of an arm, dude.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Sure.
Are there other comics that you know of that multiple girls have said have done inappropriate things and are not being exposed in the way that Aaron Glazer is being exposed right now?
Yes.
And why aren't those guys exposed?
I guess it's been dealt with differently in the
But
sense that
how's
those
that fair?
women haven't, for whatever reason, those guys. Well, that's why I was saying
Well, they're stand-ups.
those people with more exposure.
They're stand-ups and not in UCB.
Right.
So if they're in UCB, then UCB would be able to handle this with their
Right.
own SVU
Right.
team.
And this is not my story, so I'm not going to name names or anything like that because
Mm-hmm.
it's not, I don't feel it's my place. But we've discussed, there was the Lady Comics group, that kind of thing. And it's not like a gossipy
Mm-hmm.
thing like, oh, we're going to take this guy down, blah, blah, we're going to.
On
No,
a-
it's literally just like, this happened to me with this guy. This is fucked up. And it's difficult for people because you don't want to see that in a friend that you have or a person you like working with, or especially when they're at a level of success where you're like, admiring them or whatever.
Well, why don't people speak out then?
Because
If it's about keeping people safe,
I'll
then
be
they
honest with
should.
you because I think I know one case that you might be referring to,
Uh-huh.
and I think a lot of it is like, we have to be honest that sex exists in a gray area. Always, consent is always in a gray area.
100%.
The idea that affirmative consent is like something that's
I
cooked
don't
up,
agree with that.
that's cooked up by fucking.
I don't
nerds
agree with that,
fuck like
especially
Vulcans.
if you're like, especially especially if you are in like a non-committed relationship.
Yeah.
Consent is pretty clear, I think.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
There's
If you're hooking
no-
up with someone for the first time, for sure.
You're not gonna pull
Well,
some
nobody-
shit.
how-
I mean, even if you are in a relationship, you shouldn't be doing
Have
that.
you
but,
ever
like,
have you ever in your life like hooked up with somebody and before you had sex with them they said, "Do you consent to this?"
No,
No,
they say,
of
course not.
should I grab a condom? That's what.
Yeah,
that's
there's
what
like
I
different
Say.
there's different stuff like that, but
And
they
then I
want
don't,
to
and then I don't use.
yeah.
Boy, raw
and
dog.
then throw it out the window. Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of this lady comics group, have they said if we're cute, any of us? On the
Yeah, they
private
actually
secret?
mentioned that neither of you.
what do you mean,
They would have
what did
sex
I
I like
with.
you
do?
didn't even include Stav. It was just a given.
No.
None of you.
Either. Fuck you, bitch. I'm cuter than
No,
you.
everyone's in love with Stav for sure.
Yeah, take that, Nick.
Well, I heard he was a fucking rapist, dude. All right, Stav.
All
no.
good job to Stav's Instagram.
Attention,
5
lady
times.
comedian Stavros Halkias has raped 35 women.
Wait,
What?
dude.
I heard that. I'm
From
not.
who?
Good.
From who?
I don't know. I just heard it somewhere.
Shit,
Yeah.
dude. What if this happens now? What if I'm fucked?
On some other shit, I heard that comedian Adam Friedland is a very giving lover, and
Fuck Adam, dude. Anyway, guys, did we do enough talk about?
No. We haven't.
we
yet,
solved
so-
it. He's innocent, right? Is that what? Is that what?
No, I guess my thing is, and you know what? A lot of people want to like relate like personal stories to it. Like pretty much everyone I argued with this about like with this at some point was like, "Well, I was raped," and it's like, "All right, well then I'm gonna have to shut the conversation down immediately." I guess like if you don't want to go any further.
Well, that's
than
another point, though, is that women don't rape and they don't kill.
that. Well,
Men do
These are
both.
both not true
Yeah.
things that you just
They're not
said.
true.
It's statistically, it's
They're
in
not
terms
true,
of
but
murder
here's the
and
thing.
rape. It's statistical
There's
insignificant.
definitely been female rapists
Yeah.
and female murderers.
there's some guy.
Statistically speaking, it's less than 1%.
Hold on.
I'm sure. Yes.
So then it's
But
insignificance. I'm sorry. I'm not saying
well,
that
you're
women
being very
have
rude to
never
male
raped.
rape victims
I'm
right
not
now.
saying-
I feel
I'm
like
not-
I have to come to the defense of male rape victims.
Well, males get raped by other men, but they're not getting raped by women.
Well,
They-
if you
there-
used
yes,
the
there have been.
definition, if you just
I
like
think
did a
I might.
Bechdel test on, yeah, I mean I've absolutely had that.
But I wasn't like traumatized.
I've like absolutely had a thing like that happen where I was really fucking drunk and someone like insisted on it and like I was like, no, I don't want to fuck you, and then it's happened anyways. That's absolutely happened. Which if I was a woman, they would probably be in fucking jail if I, told
Well,
that
or not? Who knows?
or not. But I mean, it would be a big fucking stink.
Penetrated, don't you think?
Well,
Yeah.
I do think it's a.
When you're an active,
yeah, I agree with all
versus
that. I'm
a
not
passive
gonna
sexual party.
argue with that. And that's the thing is because some fucking
Not
guy
to say
like
it's passive, but yes.
Well, like some guy like 2 days ago posted something that was like, I just want to let everybody know there was a woman in the comedy community who, had made advances at me before, and I told her I wasn't interested, and then one night I got drunk, and somehow she like just talked her way into coming back to my place, and I told her repeatedly I didn't want to have sex, and then we did. And then people are like, oh my God, like I can't believe this happened to you, that you're brave for coming forward. And then somebody screen capped it, and then we were all making fun of him. And like text messages, me and my friends were like, this is the biggest faggot in the entire world. This is seriously the biggest fucking... And because that's the thing, like, I don't want to get to a place where men are acting like that. I don't, absolutely do not
Well,
want to
that's
fucking...
why there's probably why there's rapists. Is because
I don't give
they
a shit.
can't
I would not
express
send any
themselves.
fucking woman to jail for doing that. Ever. If
I
a
know
fucking
it is
wa-
weird, dude. Because something has
But
happened to me.
men
that it
need to
just-
be able to express the same things that women are expressing.
That's bullshit. That guy's not
That's-
traumatized by
I
that.
know,
He-
dude.
But
he's
that's
sitting
why
there
there's
like,
killers.
oh, finally a chance for me to be a victim. He's posting that for fucking brownie points. He
I
absolutely
think it's
was not
possible
traumatized.
for some.
Shut
guys
the fuck up. He was not
who
hurt by
are
that. I don't even know him.
pussies.
I
No.
forget his name, and I can tell you.
I had a similar situation. It wasn't
You're traumatized by it? Of course not.
But that's for you. Maybe someone else would be traumatized by it. Like
and they
every
should be
situation
bullied.
is very
They should be
different.
fucking bullied. Fuck you. You should be bullied.
But
for
that's
that.
why I think that's why masculinity has gotten to where it has at this
I think
point.
it's great. I collect power tools. I
Yeah.
fucking make fun of men who claim they've been raped by women.
You can
It's
get
great.
It's
raped
working
by-
very well for you
Yeah.
in
I love it.
particular.
I'm having a good time.
but I think
But
that's probably
I'm sorry but the fact of the matter remains to me is that overwhelmingly men rape and men murder, and women do not do
Okay,
it.
and why do you think that is?
Because I'm not saying, well, the second half of that statement is that in the rape conversation, feel like it's more appropriate for me as a man to just listen more than you know.
But you understand, like,
Because
inherently
I don't
that-
understand.
that
Because
negates it being a dialogue at any point. Then it's not.
yeah,
a
but
conversation.
it's really not like it's not. It applies to one gender way more than it
you
applies to
can't
us.
look at this like Aaron thing and not see that things have. You might want to call it improved, but let's say 10 years ago, someone had said like, oh, like Aaron raped me. People are like, who cares? Like 10 years ago. I mean, not.
Maybe.
Was that Mark Normand?
Was it?
Who cares?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, it's because Mark's the guy now saying that still. Like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, but people wouldn't fucking care. People wouldn't
That's the
care.
problem.
So if you look
Yeah.
at this, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it still is to an extent, but you honestly cannot say that people don't take it more seriously.
Well, right. And then
So there
kind
has
of the
been
next
progress.
step is like it happening less and people being like
Right.
aware of what they're doing and controlling whatever weird fucked up urges they have, because that's what you have to do as a human being, especially when you're in a community where everyone's
Well,
working
here's
together in a craft.
here's how that actually happens. Here's how it does happen, Les, because I guarantee you a shit ton of like instances of sexual predation or guys being creepy or whatever. The guy doesn't think for a second he's actually being a predator. So when you go in your lady groups and be like, "Oh, this guy was really fucking forward," they're called that. What are you fucking
I know,
scoffing
it's just
at?
funny.
And when you
Little lady
The way you put it, your
groups.
little
They-
lady
you-
groups.
No,
I-
it was
that's
literally
what
called
they're
NYC Lady
Yeah, yeah.
Congress.
I mean,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake.
Which is now no
Yeah.
longer existing, by
Oh,
the way.
wow.
Is that their N word? I can't say lady.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't said lady for 4 years. I just want to
Yeah.
remember.
Well, because it's never like followed by something good.
Why are they canceling the secret lady
Just
Facebook
well,
group?
shit was getting out. People were screenshotting stuff
Right.
and sharing it.
That
and the-
happens, by the way.
Yeah.
If you ever like,
Well,
Or
I've
if
never
They closed it down. Can you just ask them if?
just who's the cutest. Yeah, of course.
Dude, it's me for sure,
Sure,
bitch.
I'd be happy.
nobody
Be happy
likes
to
me.
do
I'm
that for
fine
you.
with that. I'm okay with that. I've made peace. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know the way like you.
Why
Yeah,
do you
what's your s-
why
you
do
had
you
a
think they don't
solution.
like
You actually have to have like a conversation.
I
about it.
agree.
And so
I
you
think
can't-
that's the best
you
way to do it.
can't-
Is
you
like
can't-
understand each other.
You can't just like assume that like, oh, we're gonna shame this guy out of this behavior. If his intention, if he like honestly, there's like plenty of guys that think it's like totally fine because, and you won't disagree with this, I'm sure, that they were raised that way. That's like the culture you grew up in, where it's okay to be sexually aggressive with a woman to a certain extent. And if they don't know that, like the solution isn't to talk about
Well,
it
they know
privately
that.
and get them fired.
They know.
I mean,
I think that everybody
don't know about
knows
that.
what's inappropriate. It's can you get away with it? And up until very recently, it seems like people were getting away with it. And I'm not even saying like, oh, that's so bad. Because whatever anyone can get away with, they're probably going to do. So it's up to us. And I think everyone kind of has a responsibility to hold the people they know and themselves
I don't know.
to standards
I wouldn't
that
rape
fucking
somebody if I could get away with it.
good.
It's not
Good, I'm
downloading
glad.
movies, which I don't.
You're
do,
right.
by
You're
the
right.
way.
Maybe that was a little.
If
Yeah.
the Jews in Hollywood.
I don't mean people are
Hollywood
going to rape
Jews,
if they can
man.
get away with it. That's
I've let them know.
Yeah,
I
God
reported
damn it,
Yeah,
Adam!
sorry, yeah.
I got Blue Streak on
Fuck.
DVD and going right now. But, we should talk about Blue Streak for a second.
Okay.
Probably the best police movie at all time. My favorite part about Blue Streak is the premise is Owen Wilson is somehow a detective in the LAPD, and he's just never interacted with a black person until he's met Martin Lawrence. And he's just like, wow, did you hear the way he said bully that? That's amazing. He's saying like jive turkey and stuff. That's the whole movie.
Yeah. It's good.
It's
It's got a really good Jay-Z track that plays over the credits. Too.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And in the truck driving job, like a bunch of guys say, "Oh, you got to use like a bonded lot, or I use a bonded lot when I park the truck at night." And I don't know, I never knew what the fuck anyone was talking about because I've never seen a bonded lot. I don't know what the fuck that means. I just park the truck wherever. And I was doing a job with this guy Jack or whatever, and I told Phil, I'm like, he's saying I got to use a bonded lot, and then Phil's like, Oh yeah, I just say that to people. It's like a line from Blue Streak. It's like, yeah, it doesn't mean anything, but all these producers use that term, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Me either.
You haven't?
I
Neither of
kinda
you seen
want
Blue
to.
Streak.
We should check it out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about so Martin Lawrence steals a diamond. He's like a diamond thief.
Hell yeah.
He steals a diamond, goes to, but he stashes it in this like abandoned building,
Uh-huh.
and then he goes to prison for 10 years for stealing the diamond, which they never recover. You know, when they arrest him, and then he gets out and he goes back to get the diamond, and now it's like the new police headquarters. So to get his diamond, he has to fucking lie his way into being a detective with the police
Which
department.
they already know he's gone to jail. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
Funny.
So
Well, it's because
this new detective looks exactly like the guy who just got out of prison for selling for stealing a diamond. Yeah.
The only way that movie could have been better is if he had like pretended to be Shanae to lie his way.
Hell
into the
yeah.
fucking, or the midget, the
Yeah,
midget
yeah,
character.
the midget
that was just
so
the
good.
shoes
Him
on the knees.
on his knees.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
he had to steal the diamond to get to propose to Gina. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Martin was such a great
The
sitcom.
best fucking show,
Dude,
dude.
did you watch Martin?
I did watch Martin for a little while.
Hell yeah.
Damn, Gina.
Damn. Is
So
that
I guess we
racist?
didn't have any kind of conclusion.
Well, I think that he's innocent. That's
Aaron?
I'm gonna say that right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we this is the court of Cumtown, and the judge is now in session. That's me. I got into law school, so that makes me the. You didn't go? No, I didn't go. So that makes. I mean, I'm the
No, I
closest
became a
to lawyer.
comedian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. I became a. Yeah, so I guess you got to take the UCB's finding because that's actually the court of record, and then you gotta. There's a panel actually. So what happens is you need to uncover the UCB documents, and there's a panel of 3 people. You got the UCB 3. You got Matt Besser, Amy Poehler, Ian Roberts.
I just hope the Russians hack UCB's emails and we get all those emails.
Oh hell yeah!
The Russians are great.
I mean, did you see
They're
that?
so good at
Good
hacking.
hackers.
They're
Yeah.
so good at
Yeah.
hacking.
Say what you will.
I don't understand why
Good.
we have to dislike Russia when they're so much better at computers.
I'm
than us.
watching this really bad television show about hackers right now called Mr. Robot.
That show sucks, dude. You know what's
so
hilarious?
bad, but
it's
kind
not
of-
about hackers.
I
It's about
still
fucking
watch it.
anonymous. It's
Oh, yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
be like the 4chan show, and it's like fuck, like even like calling it the evil corporation, the bad guys, the evil corporation is like supposed to be like, yeah, it's so on the nose that it's ironic or whatever. But I don't think so. I think it's just bad writing. And the best shit.
It's shot really well.
Well, my
It's just a
girlfriend,
piece of shit
my
that's shot
girlfriend,
really well.
I got her internet shut off for pirating that show.
Hell yeah!
The fucking like fuck the system show. She got like I don't know, MPAA notices or some shit, and they throttled her internet and shut it off until she
Because
stopped.
they know who's watching that. They're like,
Yeah.
they're gonna.
Wow,
Yeah.
know
she's like
too
downloading
much.
shit off Pirate Bay and then like seeding it for 3 weeks.
Yeah, dude. Hackers, bro.
Yeah. Well, I guess we didn't really do anything funny this one.
This has been a terrible episode.
Yeah.
Is this over? Is this how long have we been doing?
We've done about like 50 minutes.
Jeez,
So
yeah.
we got
We're
another
gonna
10.
lose like.
Well, hold on. Do you have anything you want to plug? You get the final word. The guest always
Oh,
gets the final
cool.
word.
Well,
And
plug
then
my
We've
show.
never done that.
Thank you. Oh yeah, yeah. We had a live show
Should we do that up
yesterday.
top? Should we just like start it up top?
Start what up top?
I don't know, man.
Before we started talking about all this really important conversation.
Thank you. We fucking have to do it. It doesn't
I
matter.
wanted to thank that guy. The
Yeah, the
Oh, that guy you're making fun of?
Yeah.
he came all the way from his where he lives with his sister to our show.
That's really
Look at
nice.
you sneak
Yeah.
dissing.
Yeah, no, the show was fun. You should do it next time.
I would
we do
love
it,
that.
If we don't lose the venue.
We'll lose it.
We're gonna have another show. Thank you for all the listeners of the show that came to watch it. We're gonna say the N word next week. We promise you.
We
Wow.
usually do one N-word an episode.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to do? Do you want to do
Do you
the
wanna do
honors
the
No
N-word?
this
thanks.
week?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that.
Imagine, here's the thing. I want you to imagine, okay, close your eyes.
Okay.
Aaron Glazer is sitting right in front of you. And the only way to send him to jail is if you call him
A hard R.
hard R
N-word.
N-word.
on this podcast
On the podcast.
at this moment.
yeah.
Well,
the
And if you
Supreme
don't say
Court-
it, not only does he go free.
Oh, he rapes
They
baby.
send him straight to a sorority.
it's all
It's
my
blind
fault.
girls, a blind girl sorority.
They send him to rape camp.
Yeah.
So that he gets
It's
really
truly
good
my
at rape.
nightmare. This is really everything that I fear and hope would never happen. All happening right now.
Well, you guys heard it here.
have to do it if you want to send them to jail, if you want to make women safe.
Melissa hates the safety of women. Melissa hates the safety of women, guys. That's it's
Damn
it's
it.
been.
Damn it.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for
Yeah, no,
having
I
me.
appreciate.
I
I'm
appreciate
glad
you
that
guys.
it wasn't just me yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And my
thanks
show's
for,
Fridays. Fridays,
uh,
Bitches Brew. Fridays
yeah.
at Halyards.
Yeah.
Great
If
show.
I'm plugging anything.
Yeah, this will go up
Halyards
tonight,
and Gowanus.
Yeah. that'll-
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. Just my Instagram as always at Stabby Baby. I'm naked as hell. And I don't know. Do we have anything else to plug for us? Just the show.
Yeah, just follow on Twitter. We're gonna announce the new date for the next Funny Moms. We should just call it Come Town, but Nick doesn't want to.
No, because it's your show. I don't want to like fucking
I feel like it's
steamroll
Yeah, it's
over.
Funny Moms, Funny Moms.
Adam's hosts honestly the best show in fucking Brooklyn that anyone. He
I
brought
just
it up
hate
from
the
DC.
name.
It's
Yeah.
a stupid
Why
name.
is it
It's-
called Funny Moms?
Because it's like I thought it was
Because
funny.
a bunch of dudes.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
you
It
was
know?
longer than that,
4
right?
years ago.
Yeah.
No,
That's why
maybe- yeah,
naming
3
is
years
so
ago.
difficult. I get very stressed out with naming things.
It's
'cause
very
it stays
twee,
with
That's
right?
why you got to
It's
go
like-
to dumb. The funniest
It's
thing
too
for
ironic
any
It's
to
tough
show.
to
twee.
commit to things.
The
What?
funniest thing for any show I saw ever. There was a show here that was just called Dog Shit, and that's so funny.
That's
So
great.
good.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so me and Ben had that show called Bombing. That was pretty fun. Where we made people bomb on purpose. But all right, yeah, I guess yeah, it'll be early September, right? Probably. First week of September, we'll have another Funny Moms / Come Town, whatever you want to call it. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and thank you for you actually did come. So we'll see you next time.
All right. Goodbye.
Thank you.